Peace and Yah bless. Yah is the strong one. The strong one is Yah. He's the tree of life. He's the fountain of living waters. He's the spirit and creator of all things that live and breathe. On this particular discourse, we're going to talk about God's business moves. God's business moves. Okay, now I'm quite sure many of you are going to be wondering what I mean by that. Well, I will explain it momentarily exactly what I mean by it. Okay, now this is an interesting article I saw. Very interesting. Okay, I guess it was actually from last year, but it says Netanyahu, Israel will not be governed by Jewish law. Okay, Israel will go back to being run as it was during the days of King David and King Solomon. Netanyahu, you couldn't be more right. Okay, you couldn't be more right about that particular conversation because that's exactly right. What they're doing today with the Knesset and all that stuff, man, in the future, that's not even going to be heard of. It's not going to be done like that anymore. It's not going to be that government style to be done with. Okay, there won't be the Labor Party and all that. No more of that stuff. Whatever they've developed in the land today that the Zionists have developed from 1947 up to this particular point in 2020 of July 25th, it's going to be abolished one day. Okay, it's going to go back to the monarch style of government. Okay, with the seed of David naturally as the governor, and only the true seed of David and no one else. Okay, now many of you have seen that we obviously have a government that has been developed, that we hope will be installed as the kingdom government. That's what it will be called, the KG, or the kingdom government. Okay, later in the future, which involves the priest. It involves also a new add-in of what's called ambassador queens, which are kind of like politicians. And naturally, the seed of David as the mighty judge, the mighty priest, right, at the top of the government. All right? So back to the crown. Okay? It'll be back to the crown of David. All right? But he will share naturally that government with others, okay? Because there'll be 22 ambassador queens and then 24 priests. When they're not on duty at the temple, the third temple, well, then they can come in and sit in, during judication, okay? And different voting in cases, just like any other government, in the world, okay? But it will be ruled by Torah law as its standard. The laws of Yah. Okay? So I just wanted to put that at the very beginning of this presentation. Okay? Now, open your Bibles, please, if they're in front of you, to Isaiah chapter 14. Okay? Let's go there. All right? Let's start there. And we read this a couple times to you all. But it has to do with this particular presentation, God's business move. Now, as you all know, when it opens up in the 14th chapter of Isaiah, it talks about how the strangers will cleave to us, right? As we get ready to come out of the daughter of Babylon, I'm talking about America in particular, and from the four corners of the earth, wherever our people are spread to the four corners of the earth. Whenever Yah triggers the Exodus, we will come from those places and we will go back to Jerusalem. Okay? The last and final move of Ezekiel chapter 16, verse number 55. Okay? The return of the government of Yah. Yah, our righteousness. Okay? So shall we be called when we get there, right? For a little while anyway. All right. Now I'll read a little bit of this. For Yah will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land. And strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place, right? And the house of Israel shall possess them, right? In the land. That's talking about in the land of Israel. We shall possess them, okay? In the land of Yah for servants and handmaidens, okay? And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were. And they shall rule over their oppressors. That's the big part right there. We're going to rule over our oppressors when we get home. You know, it's not going to be like it is today. It's going to be exactly what it's talked about in Deuteronomy 28. And I'll try to visit there before I leave this presentation. Okay, let you guys see where a lot of this comes from. Okay, we're going to rule over our oppressors. They're not going to rule over us in the land. We're going to rule over them. Okay, naturally with the seed of David and the kingdom government as the rulership. Okay, along, you know, with the other factions and government, you know, governors that, you know, might still be there when we get there. Okay, we'll just basically take all of them. I'm talking about the PLO and all that. We'll take it and roll it into the kingdom government. Okay, all right. So that's how that'll go. Okay. So anyway, I'm not going to get too deep into that matter. That's for later on down the line. But we're going to rule over our oppressors, right? And it shall come to pass in that day that Yah shall give thee rest from thy sorrow, and from thy fear, and from the hard bondage wherein thou was made to serve. Okay? So he's going to release us from this hard bondage that we're doing today, whatever it may be. Okay? Basketball courts, football fields, you know, at the plant, wherever it may be at, in the mall, wherever it may be. Okay? He's going to release us from all this stuff, from all this bondage, from this servitude that he put us in himself, sentenced us to 400 years of servitude underneath our enemies. Okay? So what's going to happen is, because most of us have been basically just employees, right? Or self-employed most of our lives. And if it wasn't for Yah releasing us from this captivity, you'd probably be employed for the rest of your life until you go to the grave, right? You know, should you get some Social Security or something like that, which who knows, within 10 years, that'd probably, you know, broke those particular systems. I wouldn't even think about depending on that, even if I stayed in the daughter of Babylon. But here's one of the business moves that Yah is going to make right here that I want you all to pay attention to, okay? When the Millennium Temple is built, okay, and whenever we go to the land, we partition the land correctly, okay, amongst the tribes of Israel, okay, there'll be these green belts that will be sitting next to what's called the city of Yah. Okay, here's the city of Yah. Here's the third temple. Here's the districts for the Levites and for the Zadok Levites. There's two factions of them, okay? Well, these fields right here, there'll be all kind of crops and produce that will grow right there. Now, why will that happen? Because of the boundless living waters that comes from the third temple. Okay? That's why that's going to happen. So it's God's business move. Because, you know, basically, for all you guys who've seen this before, Robert Kiyosaki's cash flow quadrant. I just wanted to use it as an example, you know, so people can kind of get a better generalization of what's going to happen. Because here we are today, most of us. You know, we're trickled over in these areas, but not very many. You know, just a very small few of Black Americans are in these quadrants of B and I. You know, most of the time we're over here in E, you know, the employee quadrant. That's what most of us are. Okay? Some of us find ways to get out or are trying to find ways to get over to these other quadrants. But we haven't made it over there yet. Now, what I would suggest you do is go buy Robert Kiyosaki's book, Cash Flow Quadrant, if you want to get some amplification on what you're looking at right now, okay? Because you can see it's kind of split up in four quadrants. You have the employees right here, which most everybody is. Small business right here, right? Big business right here. And then the entrepreneurs and investors right here in the I quadrant, okay? Well, when God makes this move, right, when he releases us, he's going to take many of us, and all of us really, from being employees, we're going to be shifted over to big business, entrepreneurs, and maybe some of us in small business, because some of us may have little small businesses that we may transfer. Even if you have it today from wherever you are, you may transfer that, that business over to Jerusalem, whenever you move. Okay? Simple as that. So, it's going to be a good day for us one of these days, okay? It's going to be a great day one of these days. Everything ain't going to be like it is today. We're not always going to be employees, because we've been set free. Whether y'all know it or not, when the 400 years is over, we've been set free. Okay? All right? So turn your books to Deuteronomy chapter 28. Okay? Now, the Most High talks to us about these blessings all the time. If we do what he asks us to do, he will not curse us as he's cursed us for these 400 years, okay? So here at 28 opens up, and it shall come to pass, okay, if thou shalt hearken diligently, keyword is diligently, right, unto the voice of Yah, thy God, to observe and do all his commandments, right, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee high above all nations of the earth. And that's where we once were before we broke all the covenants that we could possibly break and got taken out of the land of Israel. Back then it was called Canaan, naturally Palestine. Okay? Then he says what? All these blessings shall come on thee and overtake thee, if thou shalt hearken unto the voice of Yah, thy God. Blessed shalt thou be in the city. Blessed shalt thou be in the field. Blessed shall be the fruit of your body, and the fruit of the ground, and the fruit of thy cattle, and the increase of thy kind, right? Those are kind as a cattle, right? And the flocks of thy sheep. Blessed shall be the basket of thy store. So we're going to have, in other words, you have food, you have everything you need. You have children. Okay? And even if your enemies rise up in front of you, what the Most High say? Yah shall cause thine enemies to rise up against thee, to be smitten before thy face. Okay? They shall come out against thee one way and flee before thee 7 ways. Okay? Yah shall command blessings upon thee in thy storehouses. Okay? So we have plenty to eat, man. All right? So all these different curses that's been upon us, because when you switch over here, you start seeing the curses, right? He tells you that if we do opposite of what he's asked us to do, how we will be cursed. Okay? And we have been that over these long 400 years of captivity. But now we're switching back over to the blessings. All right? We're going back to the blessed side. All right? So for those women who want to have children, when we get to the land, you're going to have children, without a doubt. Okay? All right? We're going to be very blessed when we get back to the land of Israel. Yah's not going to deal with us like he dealt with us here in the daughter of Babylon and in the land of our enemies, in the land of our captivity. He ain't going to deal with us like that no more. Okay? He's going to deal with us based on blessings, as long as we obey and do what he asks us to do. Obey his commandments. Obey his laws and statutes. And it's very easy stuff to do. He's not asking a whole lot out of our nation. Okay? But we're going to be blessed. Okay? Extremely blessed. Okay? Now, let's read a little bit more. Okay? Right here, 11. And Yah shall make thee plenteous in goods, in the fruit of thy body, talking about children, right? In the fruit of thy cattle, in the fruit of thy ground, in the land, talking about Israel, right? Which Yah swear unto thy fathers to give to thee. Okay, so that's how you know he's talking about this is going to happen in the future. Okay, all right. Yah shall open his good treasure, okay, the heaven to give rain unto thy land in his season, and to bless all the work of thine hands. So when we out there planting our gardens and doing our farming and, basically with the animals, working with them, okay, it's going to be blessed. And thou shalt lend unto many nations, and thou shalt not borrow. So ain't going to be no more we taking loans from people and all that kind of stuff. We're not going to need that no more when we get back to the land, because everything is going to flip upside down for us, okay? Verse 13. And Yah shall make thee the head and not the tail. See, we the tail today. See, that's how you can locate Israel in Deuteronomy 28. This controversy of Israel. Well, who's at the head right now? Ain't that Esau? They call themselves the Zionists or the Jews. They at the head, so this definitely ain't talking about them. They're at the head of every industry on the earth, just about. I'm talking about they're the bankers, the international bankers. They the top of the triangle. Own all these corporations. They the head, man. So you know it ain't talking about them. This is talking about a people who are returned to being the head when they've been the tail the whole time, okay? All right, after we had, broke our covenants. Yah made us at the tail, but he's going to do what? Return us to being the head, okay? And Yah shall make thee the head and not the tail. And thou shalt be above only and not beneath, as we are today. Go to the hood, you'll see that, right? Okay? If that thou hearken unto the commandments of Yah thy God, which I command thee this day, to observe and do them. See, that's the key. Now, what does he say not to do? If thou shalt not go aside, right, from any of the words which I command thee this day, to the right hand or to the left, to go after other gods to serve them. He's talking about them idols and images, okay? Muhammad and Jesus and Krishna and Vishnu and Brahma and anything else. There's all kind of weird gods out there. And guess what? They're all figurines. Buddha, all that stuff, man. And pictures. They don't speak. They don't talk. They got to move that stuff around. They have big old statues of Mary and all that stuff, man. They move it around themselves. It don't move. They move it around. And how can it be God? Okay? You're moving it around yourself. Or somebody had to make it, the figurine up, or make the statue up. They had to make it with their own hands. How can it be God? Okay? How can it be God if you made it with your own hands? And then talking about worship this and design a religion around it, and teach little kids. And next thing you know, the little kids believe that stuff. Like they've done over all these years to many of us, right? Until you found the truth about these matters. All right, we're not to lean to the left or to the right hand side, and go out there other gods to serve them. We only serve our true and one Creator, whose name is Yah. YHWH in English, Yod Heh Wah Heh in the Hebrew dialect. That's how it's pronounced. Those are the consonant letters. YHWH and Yod Heh Wah Heh in the Hebrew dialect. So that's God's business move, man. He's going to move all of us, man, from being employees, because like I said, man, probably 90% of, Black Americans, you're employees somewhere in some form or another. Even if you're down here, you can, if you're still working inside the business, you're just an employee inside of your small business if you're working in it, okay? All right? You want to get over here to big business, where your money works for you and you're not working for it, especially in the I quadrant, where the investors and entrepreneurs are at. Okay, this is where you want to be. Get yourself over here, right here, and that's going to happen for us when we get to the land. Okay, because we're going to be so blessed, by all that Yah does for us. And that's how that's going to happen. All right. We're going to get many things. We're going to have wineries, vineyards, grapes, raisins that come from those vineyards, olive trees, olive oil, fruit trees of all manners of fruit, right? Gardens, farmland, wheat, barley, all those things, man. Because those commodities are the true riches of the earth. Okay? And there's even, some probably a little bit of oil and gas inside of the state of Israel, they call it today. Okay? We have to be transferred from being employees and become business owners and investors and entrepreneurs. So I'm here to always encourage you guys about educating yourself, okay, in economics and where we're going with economics in the world, okay, especially dealing with the new, digital economies, okay, dealing with the new digital economies and the new digital money, the Bitcoins and all these sort of things, okay? Do your research. You'll find it. All right? So Yah takes us from being employees and makes us business owners. Owners of commodities. Owners of land. Tax-free land at that. Because according to Ezekiel 47, Most High said, do not tax the land. Not going to be those HOA fees going and all that. Okay? Very, 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 very immaculate blessings are going to happen when we get back to the land, to become land owners, commodity owners. Some of us owners of silver and gold, because they're going to be bringing a whole lot of that up to the temple, okay, to build the temple with and also to store in the temple, okay. So it's going to be an excellent and fun day in the future for us. Okay, Palestinians, all of us who are the children of Israel, whether you're from the northern tribes or whether you're from the southern tribes, okay? It's going to be an excellent day. These things will Yah create. Big business and investments and entrepreneurial opportunities. And we become land lot owners. Owners of all sorts of livestock, cattle, sheep, and goats. Like I told y'all, be studying those things now. Study, how they look, what to look for, what's a good looking goat, what's a bad goat, because you might be going buying these things. You know what I mean? You want to make sure you know what you're buying. Okay? Like I said, all manners of vineyards. Holy from that, there'll be wineries. And like I said, from that, you can sell grapes. From that, you can sell raisins, just from that one product. If you got olive trees, you can sell the olives, green and black. You can sell olive oil just from that one product. You see how far this can go? See how far the entrepreneurial spirit can go? So I'm trying to really, really get, be a spark plug for you today to get you guys into this thing and to get you excited, you Black Americans, you Palestinians, okay, and the strangers who come along with us, to get you excited about all that Yah is going to do in this earth. Okay? It's going to be an exciting time. So what would I be doing right now? Study economics, study gardening, farming, animals and the anatomy of animals. Probably some, butchering, those techniques, for those who know how to butcher animals, skin them and all that, that's knowledge that we're going to need. Even the average person, we're going to need to know that, right? Okay? Mathematics, biblical measurement, geography, maybe even some masonry things, okay? Team development. It's a whole bunch of things that we need to know, Black Americans. Let's get smart. Let's think smart. Let's put our heads together and go become the greatest nation of this world as we once were and always were. Remember, we were never at the bottom. We was always at the top until we went against Yah. Started worshiping them demons, right? Them devils, the he-goat. Okay, that's what that is, man. That's where they get that gold of Mendes from, man. Right out this book right here. If you go look it up in the Strong's Exhaustive Concordance of the Bible, bonds, man. Okay, all right. God's business move, and we're ready for Him to make that move. Take us from being employees to the other side of the quadrant. Big business, investors, and entrepreneurs. That's the future of Black America. Not to stay in America and do it, but to take all of our resources and transfer it all over to Israel, to our homeland, where it needs to be. And it will join hand in hand with the Palestinians, and we'll all work together and make this happen as one nation. Okay? A real nation underneath God. Okay? With liberty and justice for all, under the Torah law. Okay? So I'll give you guys a couple more slides and we're going to call it a day. All right. So again, here's the Holy District. All right, there's the city. Yah's there. And, here's the green belts. Okay? It's going to be an exciting time in Jerusalem. Okay? I look forward to seeing you all there. All right? So do your studying now. It's not for us to get to the land to do it. You do your studying right now. Okay? All right? When we get to the land, you be ready to hit the ground, running, ready to go with your entrepreneurial spirit, okay? Spirit and all of your ideas you might have for yourself, for your family, When you get your lot of land, you're going to do what you need to do. Get on that lot, Start what I call, breaking the clods, get in that dirt and plant those seeds and grow you some gardens. And it's going to be great. I just can't wait to get there and do this thing with you all. All right, Isaiah 65 again, okay? For behold, this is Yah speaking this. For behold, I create a new heavens and a new earth, and the former shall not be remembered nor come into mind. What that means is everything we do in America, the Most High said, man, we not going to even worry about this stuff no more. You see how kind of like, when they took the sports off TV, now you don't worry about it as much. Once they took it off TV, stop worrying about it as much. You don't worry about sports that much no more. It almost ceased to be a part of life because you hadn't seen it in so long. You know what I mean? That's what it means by the former shall not be remembered. So our old lifestyles, what we was doing in the hood or what club we was going to or whatever you doing here in the door to Babylon, it ain't gonna be remembered no more. Those troubles are gonna be forgotten. You see that right here. Okay? Because the former troubles are forgotten. Okay? And because they're hid from mine eyes. All that stuff, man. All right? Swear by the God of truth. Yah. Okay? We swear only by his name and no other name. But anyway, I'm just showing you, okay? The former troubles are going to be forgotten. Ain't going to be no more police brutality. Probably not ain't going to be a police force. No such thing as that anymore. For what reason? God is our protection. We'll have, maybe some rapid response people, if something's going down and people are arguing, break that up. We gonna be like, hey, stop that, man. Peace, brother. We here for peace, peaceful land. We're not here for all that kind of stuff. We'll always remind them of that, when we get there, okay? But God's business moving us from being employees into big business and investors and entrepreneurs. I mean, what a great day. I can't say 1,000 times how great it's going to be. So let's read that Isaiah 65 verse 21. I've been over it before, going over it again. Okay? Talking about the people of Israel. Okay? When we get back home. All right? And they shall build houses and inhabit them. Okay? And they shall plant vineyards, as I told you earlier, right? And eat the fruit of them, right? And the wine and the raisins that comes from vineyards, right? They shall not build and another inhabit like we do today. Working for a company or something, okay? They shall not plant and another eat. Whatever we plant, we're going to eat it. Take it right out of our garden, take it right on the inside, wash it off, you know what I mean? Cut it up, make you a nice salad or whatever you eating that day, or fruit, whatever it might be, okay? For as the days of a tree are the days of my people, and mine elect shall long enjoy the work of their hands. You hear that? We're going to enjoy it because what? It belongs to us. So we're going to enjoy it, okay? Now listen, they shall not labor in vain because we labor in vain. Now, how do you labor in vain? Because by the time you get your check, you know what I mean, they done took half of it. Okay, or at least a third of it, whatever the case is, all right? Or a quarter of it, how much they take out, you know what I mean? They take it, most of it, right? Taxes, etc., right? Especially if you're in this quadrant right here. Because these people in this quadrant, they don't pay taxes. And they pay very little. You know what I mean? Okay, I don't want to get into all that. You got to go do your own study on why that is, okay? But they shall not labor in vain, nor bring forth trouble. So we're not going to need no police force, man. There'll be no such thing as no police brutality. You ain't going to hear about that ever again when we get back home. For they are the seed of the blessed of Yah, and their offspring with them. So our children with us, they be blessed with us in many generations after we're gone, even though we're going to get some extra long lives, extra long extended lives. And we cannot wait for Yah to roll this whole thing out. And that's why he's working with me and many others who are Yah's servants and his true servants, you know what I mean? Leave it to us to roll these things out to the people. That's why I was trying to tell all the celebrities, man. Just shut it down, man. We don't need a bunch. There's enough confusion out here amongst the people, even about our identity and what's going on with it. We don't need a whole bunch of extra voices out here to add to the madness, basically confusing the people, man. Because you got to go do a lot of study in this book and basically be blessed by Yah to even bring it forth. You know what I mean? Because a lot of cats, they in here bringing forth the book, but they got what? They got idolatry mixed up in it. A lot of those Israelite camp, what they call camps. They leave those camps alone, man. Okay, they still talking about Jesus, but in a black form. You know what I mean? There is a seed of David, yeah, but not like, what you see in an NT. All right, but I don't talk about that, all right? So it's going to be a great day in the future. So let's go ahead and let's get that entrepreneurial spirit stirred up out of our people. Let's get these business mind, big business stirred up. Even the small business, get it stirred up, man. Let's get that spirit stirred up on our people of intelligence, man. Okay, and entrepreneurship and investment in our people and educate our people like that for the rest of our lives, okay? Yah is going to provide the vehicle for us to get it done. You see it right here in front of you. When we go home, we partition the land just like it's supposed to be, just like it's told to you in Ezekiel chapter 47 and 48. And then we'll give lots out in these lands. Everybody become landowners, man. And then from there, all of your entrepreneurial spirit and all your studies, we're going to put all that to use, and including the stranger along with us. We're going to put their talents to use too. All right? But they're going to work underneath us. We'll be owning the businesses, okay? It's going to flip all the way over. We're going to own the businesses. They're going to work for us in those businesses, okay? Be it small business or be it big business, okay? Or entrepreneurial, investments. Yes, we're going to be in the real estate heavy. Why? Because we're going to be landlocked owners, okay? But it'll be simple, okay? I can say a whole lot more, but I don't want to talk too long. Thank you guys for listening. Like I said, stir up that entrepreneurial spirit, that big business spirit, okay? Stir that up in the people henceforth. Thank you all for listening. Peace. Y'all bless.